This mushroom is known as the pheasant back mushroom or the dryad saddle. You can see they have a light brown color with these darker spots. They're kind of like these flaky scales that grow on top of the caps. And underneath, it has a bright white, sometimes tan pores. Just a lot of pores underneath there. You can see all of them. I've seen these things grow really big. I've seen them get really massive, like elephant ear size. But yeah, I'm gonna pop one off just to kind of show you guys what they look like. You can see how firm they are. It's really strong. You should use a knife on these. But yeah, underneath they have a whole bunch of those pores. And they kind of grow like this little, like teacup kind of shape. Pretty easily identifiable once you know what to look for. Over in Europe, they call it the dryad saddle. Dryad is a Greek word for fairy. So I guess they kind of thought it resembled a little saddle that maybe a fairy would ride on. And here in America, we call them the pheasant back because of those brown scales that grow right on the tops of them. It kind of resembles a pattern that you would see on a female or a hen pheasant. They grow in early springtime. So it's just now May, I think May 2nd. I'm finding these. I think these just came up within the last couple days, probably with the last rainstorm that we got. They grow on rotting wood. So you'll typically see them growing on an old stump. You can see this small cluster is growing at the base of an old stump. I was out here working on the new donkey enclosure. I spotted them. These are edible. Now, if you want to harvest these, personally, my opinion is you go for the younger ones, the smaller ones. So if I were to harvest these, I would probably skip out on the big one and go for these little ones over here, because the little ones have a more of a tenderness to them, whereas the bigger ones, they get more firm. Now, you can still harvest these big ones. What they say is you want to do is you cut the outside edge off, and that's way more tender. So you're basically staying away from that main base where it's real firm. So you just kind of, with the pocket knife, you cut around this outside edge, and that's the part you harvest of the larger ones. Now these smaller ones, you can just cut the top right off. Those are perfect. You're gonna wanna watch for bugs with these ones. If they've been out for too long, bugs do burrow down into these. So when you start seeing some damage on, like you see this one, you can even see a few little pinholes in there. I would just stay away from this one altogether, because there's most likely some bugs in it. Now, the flavor isn't the greatest. They have a real strong mushroom flavor. And like we just talked about, they do have a little bit of a more firmness to them. Their texture's not the greatest. They don't taste the greatest on like a steak, but you can utilize them in other ways. You can make, primitive sauces like a primitive ketchup. You can make mushroom stock. So it is a good mushroom to know about. A lot of people use these. You can harvest a lot of them because they're pretty plentiful. In where I am in southern Michigan, if you're just driving along the road, looking in the woods, you can usually spot these every few miles. You'll see some pretty good sized clusters growing on rotting trees out in the woods. The pheasant back, they start to pop up with morels, but they just keep going. You'll see these all summer long and into the fall. But you'll usually in the springtime, when we're getting a lot of those good spring rains, that's when they're most plentiful. You'll see them everywhere. Another good fact to know about the pheasant back is when you spot one like this, I just found this one, as long as you don't completely harvest the mushroom, this will continue to grow here every year until this old tree trunk is consumed. So I can use this as a reliable source for pheasant back for a long time, as long as I don't completely harvest it. So that's something to know. Like I said, the flavor isn't the greatest, so I'm gonna pass on these. But if I ever want to do any sort of mushroom stock or something in the future, I know where to look. And what's nice is this is right here on my property, so pretty cool. I'm glad I found this. All right, we're gonna have a lot more mushroom videos and foraging videos to come, so make sure you stay tuned, click that subscribe button. We got a lot more to come. Thanks for watching.